with just asking yourself, what good is around me? Like, what can I be grateful for right now? Rather than focusing on what's not done, what I still need to do, what I still need to accomplish. And remembering that you can hold both the hard and the good in your life. And that really just expands your brain in a way that is so hard to describe. But for me, it was this lightness and really having the capacity to do so much more.
Welcome back to our Happy Rainmakers video series where point one can make a difference. I'm really happy to be joined by Chandani Patel Thompson today. She is a multifaceted person. She's a founder, consultant, speaker, and mom of three. She helps professionals in high pressure roles, including lawyers. That's why we're talking with her today to reduce cognitive overload, cultivate clarity, and create impact without losing sight of the human beneath the role. Welcome, Chandani.
Thank you, Jen, for having me.
You have so many good ways of framing why rest is so important for high caliber professionals. Sometimes the attorneys I speak to feel like I'll rest later or I'll rest when I earn it. And you have a different philosophy about it.
And I really thought of rest as like physical rest, like, laying on the couch, sleeping, and things like that. And the more that I learned and leaned into rest and self care and caring for yourself, this pillar, I realized that there are more than one form of rest. And that was really a big aha for me. And so as I was doing more research, I developed this framework and realized that I believe there are 6 different forms of rest. And so mental rest was one form of those rest, of the rest framework. And then emotional rest is where you're like putting down that urgency or having the space to really process um, all the things that you have to carry, all the people's emotions that you have to manage during your day. And then there was identity rest where it was I learned more about like separating your output and your worth based on your role versus actually who we are versus, what we're producing or solving or constantly holding together. Um, and then relational rest is where we're really spending time with people where we don't have to be the expert or the fixer or the person that's the glue and holding everything together, but we have a safe place to return to. And for me, that was my partner, where I could really just be myself. And for people that don't have partners, I like to talk about like doing mirror work has been so profound for me, where I just talk to myself in the mirror and can really be myself, where I'm not performing. And that was another form of rest that I built into this framework. And then there's strategic rest, which is really about being intentional about building moments of recovery into our very demanding lives and schedule that asks so much of us. And that's really where the gratitude journal and the point one method was born. And as you're familiar with point one, I named my gratitude journal the point one daily gratitude journal because it's a 6-minute practice. It's very structured. And it gave me the structure I needed to be more strategic and have the plan done for me where I was resting intentionally. And that looked like gratitude practice in the morning, which really gave me the emotional rest because it helped me, reconnect with what was good around me, my contribution in the world, the impact I was having, no matter how big or small. Um, and then that practice also became a form of identity rest because in my evening close practice, it's a 3-minute morning practice of gratitude, affirmation, and intention setting. But the evening close is really where you're writing down your wins, what you accomplished and achieved that day, but who you served by doing those things. And I think we forget that piece. And that is what brings meaning back into your life and really gives you the identity rest that I think a lot of us are seeking.
So, for those attorneys who are watching and they're in the place that I was when I was still practicing, or you were, where they haven't adopted any of these rest practices, and it sounds completely foreign to them, and they know this is something that would make a difference, how can they get started? Like, what is the best way to use a point one moment to try and incorporate rest?
So I'd say for these 6 forms of rest, I would try them on. I think a gratitude practice is a really easy way to try that, with just asking yourself, "What good is around me? Like, what can I be grateful for right now?" Rather than focusing on what's not done, what I still need to do, what I still need to accomplish, and remembering that you can hold both the hard and the good in your life. And that really just expands your brain in a way that is so hard to describe. But for me, it was this lightness and really having the capacity to do so much more because my brain wasn't overloaded with the crowded of unfinished tasks and really seeing, I was really being critical of myself and seeing more critical things because we're trained to look for the worst case scenario. And if our brains are constantly thinking about the worst case scenario, there's not as much space for the good. And so as you start to do this practice, you start to notice the good, but your brain is expanding to just bring more in and hold both.
Well, thank you very much. It sounds like everyone's point one first action should be taking a look at that guide and deciding which practice to try first. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Jen.